All right, we're just starting recording, and it's recording is in progress, which is amazing. All right, so let's read a little bit from the story and talk some Heilige Inyanim from Rabbeinu Hakadosh. Let's go. Don't have much time because I have a minion and we're sort of late, so let's go ahead and do it. So, as we said before, that the Baal Tefillah told us this kingdom of wealth about the hand that the Melech had, and therefore it's not possible for them to rely on the land of money. Anybody who rely on them will fail. And so when they had heard about that, they realized that he was saying something true. They asked him, "Where's the king? Maybe he'll show us a way to find money." So he answered that, in like in amazement, "You still want money?" He says, of money speak nothing at all. So they asked him, "Nevertheless, tell us where the king is." And he answered them, "I also do not know where he is." And we spoke about this, and we said that this is, even though they're still inside the world of greed, and they haven't moved out of there in an iota, by him telling them, these very high stories, it awakens them that, first of all, they say, so can we get money from the king? So he says, don't talk about money at all. He says, they never, yeah, but where's the king? It awakens an akuda of truth in them. And it says, this is where we start. And the story was like this. There was a king and a queen, and they had an only daughter. And the time came close for her to be married off. And they seated advisors to give counsel who she should be married off to. And I was there among the advisors because the king liked me. And my advice was that they should give her to the warrior, because the warrior had done many benefits for us, for he conquered many countries. Therefore, it was fitting to give him the queen's daughter for a wife. My advice was very well accepted. All agreed with it. There was great joy there for having found the groom for the queen's daughter. And married her off to the warrior, and the queen's daughter had a child. And the baby was extremely handsome, with a beauty that was not human at all. His hair was of gold, and he had all the colors. And his face was as the sun, and his eyes were luminaries on their own. And the child was born with mature wisdom, because they saw in him, as soon as he was born, that he was a great sage. Because when people were talking in the place where one needed to laugh, he would laugh, and other such things, recognizing him that he was a great sage, though he still lacked the movements of an adult, namely the ability to speak and so forth. The main akuda that we are embarking on here today, we asked this question once before. Why would the Baal Tefillah tell such profound Kabbalah secrets to people who are so low? The answer to this question is actually in Torah 60, which we learn on Thursday nights. And Rabbeinu speaks about the fact that there are people who are sleeping their days. And that union of sleeping their days means, the Rabbeinu says that it looks to the olam, it looks to people around them as if they're serving Kodesh Baruch Hu, and they're davening and they're learning, but the Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't have enough ruach from that. And one needs to understand, there's a concept of the tefillos going up and mitzvahs going up. The famous Maisa Baal Shem HaKadosh, that he was in a certain shul, and he said that this shul is full with tefillos, because these tefillos never went up. Rabbeinu says in Torah Kuf Yud Beis that a tefillah that is not the way it's supposed to be does not go up until a person actually says a diburei emes lamitoy, and then the tefillah goes up. And with that tefillah, all the other tefillahs that he davened until then didn't go up, they go up also. So we need to understand, what does it mean that the tefillah goes up? That it's tzaddikim elevate the tefillahs, that the mitzvahs goes up, and the tefillah elevate the mitzvahs, and so forth and so on. And what's the pshat? How can a person sit and learn Torah and daven, and Kodesh Baruch Hu has no nachas ruach from it? Kodesh Baruch Hu wants us, lo'ilam yilmad odom shelo lishma, because shelo lishma becomes lishma. So how can it be? The answer is that both Torah and mitzvahs are working on two levels. We saw this concept in Torah Daled when we learned it, and that is that the first aspect, the Torah and mitzvah work, and tefillah, Torah and mitzvahs are working, is on your own personal level. It's giving tikkun to your neshama. And now, Kodesh Baruch Hu is absolutely everywhere, and you don't need to climb on the ladder and scream at the top of your voice for Kodesh Baruch Hu to hear you. Kodesh Baruch Hu hears you wherever you talk to him, even in thought. Kal v'chomer in whisper. So, but the point is, Kodesh Baruch Hu knows every single tefillah that you daven, every single tefillah that you wish you could daven, all the mitzvahs that you do. Kodesh Baruch Hu knows all about that, and he hears your tefillahs. But there's a second level on which the Torah and tefillah and mitzvahs work. That is, on spiritually, it works and benefits all the olamis, all the universes, from Olam Asiyah to Olam Atzilus. But when is it working? When is it doing that kind of benefit? What is it giving this kind of benefit to all the olamis? The answer is when there is a seichel. With a seichel amiti, your own seichel amiti, which Rebbe calls your own face, your own ponim. As we have chochmas odom tayepanav, the wisdom of a person enlightens his face. That the person that is connected to the Metzias of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that is aware that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I exist, and I sit here, and I breathe, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is creating all this all the time. Because Baruch Hu is here, and it's working all the time. And when you do a mitzvah, you're connected to Kadosh Baruch Hu. When you learn Torah, you learn the Torah of Kadosh Baruch Hu. When you're davening, you're not trying to get rid of the davening. You're trying to connect to Kadosh Baruch Hu. When all these things are happening, your tefillah goes up. What does it mean it goes up? It is working on all the spiritual levels, from here to Olam Atzilus and beyond. When a person is not connected to the seichel of what he's doing, I'm in a relationship with Hakadosh Baruch Hu. I was by Shabbos, I was a guest by somebody, and the family was talking about, the children were talking about, about Gehenam and about Kafakela and about Icholat Murais and whatever it is, and they were like asking what's worse, like Gehenna obviously is very, very bad, but Kafakela is worse than that, and Icholat Murais is even worse than that. So they asked me, like, what is better, what is worse, what is more difficult? So I told them, the different kind of levels, but I told them that you should know that there's something which is far worse than Gehenna and Kafakela, La'aleinu, La'alechem, and Icholat Murais. And that is when you do something that Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want you to do. Why do people go to Gehenna? Why do people get all these punishments? Obviously because they did something Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want them to do. I mean, what are you saying here? The answer is, imagine that you have a relationship with your father, okay? And a boy has a relationship with his father, and the child is lying to his father continuously. And a person, the father doesn't know about it. Then the father finds out, okay? So there are consequences. There's punishment, there's this, there's that, there's a harsher punishment, an easier punishment. But by far the biggest loss of the child is the fact that his father lost his trust in him. His father doesn't trust him anymore. This is worse than any kind of punishment that his father can punish him. Any kind of punishment will pass. But that loss of trust and faith between the father and the son, it can be repaired, but it takes a lot to repair trust after it was broken. We have a relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. That relationship is called the panim of a person. When there is a person is connected to the seichel, why am I learning Torah? Why am I davening? And when a person learns like that, davens like that, does mitzvahs like that, the mitzvahs go up and correct whatever it is they need to correct. But when a person is not connected to the real seichel behind his Yiddishkeit, for all intent and purposes, he's asleep. He's spiritually asleep. Yeah, you go to shul, put your film, you go through whatever it is, you go through the motions, you get rid of the filler, you get it over with, whatever it is. Shabbos comes in, you feel better, you feel worse, you do this, you do that, you schmooze with people. You're not connected to your panim. You're not connected to your face. You're not connected to your chokhmah, which is you're not connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. basically a person is asleep when he's like that. So the Rebbe says that when you want to wake a person who's sleeping his life away, it has to start with this person wanting this on his own. It's called an awakening from below. Isarusa del Tasso. When he tells him about the king, they say, okay, the king maybe can show us money. He says, forget about the money. Don't talk about the money anymore. He says, okay, nevertheless, where is the king? That is a very little bit of Isaurus from below. They're interested. They want to know where the king is. Now he start telling them stories. He says, when a person is asleep, you can reveal the light to him in one fell swoop. It has to be gradual. Like a person who hasn't seen for a long time, and he went through a medical process, and they have to remove the bandages slowly, getting used to the light, because I always go blind. The same way they cannot show him his face, but what they have to do is they have to ensconce, they have to cloak and dress up the Divrei Torah in Sipurim Isis, in stories. And Rabbeinu speaks in Torah Samach about the three reasons why it dafka has to be done with stories. Bezrat Hashem, hopefully we'll talk more about it on Thursday and next Monday. I think that it would behoove us to arrive closer to 8:15, so we can start on time, so we have a little time to talk about these things. Now it's time actually to go David Marev, so we'll have to stop now. Tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem, we will learn Likutim around the same time, the same place. B'ezrat Hashem, I'll talk to you. Take good care. Bye-bye.